Johnnie Cochran sued me for $25 million and took me to federal court because he wanted a downtown jury like the OJ jury. But the incident happened in North Hollywood, which would have made it a Van Nuys jury. He didn't want a Van Nuys jury. He wanted a downtown jury, and the closest he could get is if he filed a federal case. So he filed a federal misconduct and murder case against me in federal court. That went on for 2 years, year and a half. And October 6, 1998, we're ordered to go to a settlement conference in West LA. I show up, a retired federal judge to mediate this conference, looking for a settlement. Johnnie Cochran shows up 3 hours late with an entourage. They're suing me for $25 million. At the end of the first day, Cochran says he's got to leave 3 hours early because he's having dinner with Bill Clinton that night, President Clinton, in Santa Monica. So he has to leave 3 hours early. They go behind the door, closed doors. The judge goes in, talks to the city attorney, talks to Cochran and crew. He leaves, and we're down to $800,000. So he dropped from $25 million to $800,000. Big drop. The next day we show up, we go in a conference. The judge again interviews me, interviews them, goes in a closed room, and we break for lunch, and we come back. We come back, and Tom Hokanson, Jim Hahn, was running for mayor at the time. He was the city attorney at the time, but he was running for mayor, so a guy named Tom Hokanson was negotiating the settlement. And Cochran says to Hokanson, he goes, "Can you do $250,000? Hogan says, well, it's Chief Parks Department. I'm gonna have to notify Chief Parks and get back to you. We might be able to do that. And Cochran goes, well, this case has been dragging on for 2 years. I want to get out from under it. We're losing money here. Okay. 20 minutes later, the secretary comes in. It's Parks. Mr. Hokanson, Chief Parks on line 20 or whatever it is. Hokanson gets on it. They go back in the closed room. I'm still sitting there steaming. The judge comes back out and says, and Corey comes out with his head down. The judge comes back out. He goes, okay, it's over. I said, what do you mean it's over? He says, we settled the case. I says, what do you mean you settled the case? The only way to clear my name is to go to trial and bring all the facts out, bring the truth out. All that's going to this did is it shows that the city protected a white racist and paid him off. And I'm screwed. You just destroyed my life. The judge says to me, he goes, would it help if I wrote a letter? I says to him, I said, it wouldn't hurt. I says, but don't send it to me. So we closed. He closed the case, settled for $250,000. Before that, though, just before we left, Cochran says, can you cut me 3 checks? Because the city of LA has a city charter that said any payout over $100,000 must be voted on by the full city council. Anything under $100,000, the city treasurer is the only one that had to sign off on it. Cochran says, can you cut me 3 checks? Hogan says, yeah, we probably do that. He wanted 90 and 90 and 70. In the letter, the judge basically writes that had it come to him for adjudication, he would have voted in favor of the city on all counts. He says the fact that the city settled, nor the amount, should in any way reflect on the conduct of Detective Lyga. Detective Lyga acted in accordance with all policies and guidelines throughout this whole incident. He goes, as you are aware, this settlement can be deemed political, which was big words. I mean, big words. That letter was big words. And there was a little bit more he said. And he complimented Corey Brent on his job. And he says, oh, I listened to both sides and everybody agreed, except for me, that it was in best interest of the city to settle this case. They write the checks 2 weeks later to Cochran's office law firm. And guess how many checks they write? 12 checks. Whoever was going to write the 90, 90, and 70 must have got a pitch and say, oh, geez, that's a little close to the 100,000 mark. 3 checks, 90, 90, and 70, just to the same law firm, right in a row. Somebody might pick that up. So they wrote Cochran 12 separate checks for $250,000. And they buried it. And it was never seen for 4 or 5 years.
Was this the one where the city council found out and got upset about it?
Yeah.
When did that? Can you tell me about that?
I don't know about that. That was 3 or 4 years later.
Okay.
But the moral to the story was they buried it. They settled for $250 because Cochran was a loser. The judge came right out and said that if this went to trial, he would have voted in favor of the city. That I did nothing wrong. And not only did I do nothing wrong, Corey told me this was the cleanest shooting in the history of the department. Everything I said, I got complete surround sound. I basically remembered everything. Corey told my wife that I had the best memory recall of any officer he's ever been involved with. He said I was the best client and the worst client he ever had. I was the best because I had the best memory recall. I could remember and bring everything up. I was the worst because I had the best memory recall and bring everything up. He says most cops just want this stuff to go away. You get sued, they don't want to know nothing. They just want it to go away. And I wanted to know everything right on spot. I wanted to be involved in everything. And I wanted to go to trial. And they sold me out.
Right now at 6, a shocking recording of a speech allegedly made at the LA Police Academy. And now the LAPD confirms an investigation into the circumstances surrounding that recording. Now, part of the conversation was about shooting and killing off-duty officer Kevin Gaines.